A girl named Chloe gets home and checks several letters from the bank asking her to pay up her loans. Even though she gets on a call with one of the bank's representatives to explain her situation, they threaten to take the house from her and her brother TJ. After the call ends, Chloe calls TJ, but he sees the call and ignores it. He's in a car with a guy named Ross, who also happens to be Chloe's ex. The boys are planning to rob a local store, and as Ross plans to head out, he tells TJ to prepare to drive fast as soon as he's through. TJ sounds worried that he doesn't have a license, but Ross says it's not really important in their situation, as long as he knows how to drive. Ross also brings out a gun to scare TJ, but later confirms that it's fake and only shoots tiny balls. Just then, both of them cover their faces with masks, after which Ross goes into the store. As TJ is waiting, he suddenly hears a gunshot and sees Ross coming out bleeding. Ross heads for the car, but doesn't make it before the store owner comes out and shoots at the car. Seeing as he's also in danger, TJ drives the car away and leaves the scene. Shortly after, TJ gets home and tells Chloe about what happened. She blames him for hanging out with Ross, saying he's not always up to any good. However, TJ says Ross is a good guy and he agreed to rob the store because he knew she needed money for her medical school tuition and he couldn't just watch while she drops out. Meanwhile, the town sheriff arrives at the scene of the robbery and sees Ross's body on the ground. He asks several questions about what happened, as well as about the getaway driver. After he gets his answers, including that the other person couldn't be identified because he wore a mask, he asks that Ross be taken to the coroner's office. Later on, Chloe starts asking TJ some questions about the robbery, just to be sure he won't be arrested. TJ tells her they wore a mask, and the car they took to the scene was also stolen. He mentions that he set it on fire after driving a few miles. Chloe sounds relieved to hear this, but suddenly, TJ remembers Ross having his phone on him. Because they planned the robbery through a series of texts, TJ realizes he'll be in trouble if the phone is found. Chloe looks terrified to hear this, and as they wonder what to do, they agree to go to the coroner's office to find a way to get it back. This plan doesn't work because no one answers them at the gate when they get to the coroner's office. After several attempts, TJ sarcastically says it's unlikely they're able to go in, unless they're in a body bag. However, Chloe takes it seriously and starts thinking of doing it. She asks TJ if he still buys drugs from his usual dealer, and when he says he does, they go over to meet her. His usual dealer is a girl named Randy, and after getting the drugs, Randy tells them to be careful because the drugs are so strong, they can knock someone out. Chloe says she knows what it can do, and after they leave, Chloe tells TJ her plan. She tells him that after she takes the drug, he has to make an anonymous call to the sheriff's office about seeing someone dead on the road. By that time, she would have become unconscious, and she'd be taken to the coroner's office. TJ doesn't like the sound of it as the plan seems too risky, but Chloe says it's their best shot because she's not planning to let him go to prison after losing their parents. TJ does as instructed, and after Chloe passes out, she wakes up in the morgue. She immediately gets up and checks around her to see if Ross's body is also there. Before she can check all the bodies in the room, the coroner comes in for inspection. He almost catches Chloe, but she's fast enough to get back in bed. She pretends to be dead, but immediately he wheels out a body. Chloe runs quickly to hold the door so it doesn't get locked. Chloe soon heads out and enters another room. There, she puts on the lights and sees another body. She remains silent and finally gets a hospital gown to wear. After that, she heads out again and sees the evidence room. As she thinks of going in, she sees the coroner inside. Before she can think of what next to do, the coroner finishes up with what he's doing and starts walking towards the door. Chloe runs to hide again, and from where she is, she sees the coroner enter the security room and unlock the gate for a car to come in. Following that, the coroner carries a box to the door. He opens the door, and a guy named Mannix comes in. Mannix starts talking about how the coroner is also right on time with his orders for body parts. He also tells the coroner that a new customer needs a liver. Chloe is hiding next to where they're having their discussion, and she realizes that the coroner deals in organ trafficking. As Mannix leaves, the coroner heads back inside. Chloe also follows and heads into the autopsy room. There, she sees another body lying on a bed, and as she opens it, it turns out to be Ross. She looks terrified to see that he's dead, and as she takes a look at his body, she sees that one of his organs has been taken. Chloe decides to remain focused on her mission and head out, but Ross holds her hand as she moves. Chloe gets frightened by this, and it turns out Ross is not dead. He is still in shock and doesn't know what's happening. but Chloe immediately says she'll get him out of there, telling him something dangerous is going on in the morgue. Ross asks if she has found the exit, and she tells him she still needs to get the key. With this, she heads out and sees the coroner working on another body while his keys lie on a tray. She sneakily goes in, and after a while, Chloe picks up the keys. She returns to meet Ross and tells him she'll help him get out while she stays back because she still needs to get his phone from the evidence room. With her help, Ross is able to walk to the door, and just as she tries to open it, he sees the stitches on his body. Chloe tells him that his kidney was taken, though he'd be all right because he has two. Ross sounds scared, but Chloe tells him everything will be fine when he gets out. While she's struggling to find the right key for the locks on the door, the coroner soon realizes that his keys are gone. He checks around and looks surprised not to see it where it was dropped. He enters the security room and sees through the cameras that Chloe and Ross are about to leave. He picks up a gas mask and a small gas cylinder, after which he heads towards the door. Chloe is finally able to unlock the door, but as she tries to carry Ross so that he can leave, the coroner shows up and sprays the gas in the room to knock them out. When Chloe wakes up, she sees Ross lying unconscious on a bed beside her. She also notices that she's tied to a bed and can do nothing. As she tries to call on Ross, the coroner responds that he can't hear her. She begs him to set them free, but he says he can't do that because they'd go back to continue their life of crime. He says he knows people like them who only want to take shortcuts instead of earning rightly. Chloe says he's mistaken, and she's not like that. She says she's a forensic medicine student who doesn't get involved in crime. Even though he's impressed with her course of study, the coroner says she made a wrong choice to break into the morgue. Chloe says she didn't have a choice, but he tells her everyone always has one. He takes Ross as an example and says he was caught trying to rob a store, and he doesn't deserve anything other than being killed. The coroner also mentions that there are other deserving people who could use their organs to live a better life. He then asks Chloe if she has an excuse, and she tells him of how her dad was accused of killing himself, even though she knew he had a mental illness. She also says the insurance company didn't pay out his life insurance because of that. She then mentions that she's studying forensic medicine to help people who want to learn the truth about how their loved ones died. The coroner says it's all a lie, and her father must have really killed himself. He soon cuts Ross's body open and takes his liver. Chloe cries as she watches, and as the coroner packages it and tells her she'll soon be next, his phone rings. The coroner covers Chloe's mouth and tells her not to scream while he takes his call. It turns out to be his daughter, who asks when he'll be home for dinner. He tells her he will be back in the morning because he's still busy at work. After that, he tells her he loves her before ending the call. He then faces Chloe, who is still begging for her life, but he tells her that her organs will go to a good person. As he heads out to another room to work on a different patient, Chloe starts looking for a way to free herself. She soon sees the coroner's cutting machine and uses it to release herself. The coroner hears the sound of the machine and comes in to look for her. However, he doesn't find her and heads out to check elsewhere, even though she's hiding under Ross's bed. After the coroner leaves, Chloe heads to the evidence room and finds the box containing Ross's things. As she opens it and looks shocked to see a gun, she hears the coroner come in. She hides and sees. As the coroner looks through the box she opened, he finds Ross's phone, and just as he's looking at it, Chloe shows up and points the gun at him to give it to her. He says he knows very well that the gun is fake, but Chloe still shoots it, and the tiny balls inside the gun injure his eye. Chloe runs away when she sees that she can't get the phone from the coroner. Meanwhile, he's able to unlock the phone with Ross's face and soon realizes why Chloe broke in to get the phone. Chloe, on the other hand, enters an underground section of the morgue, where the coroner keeps junkies whose body parts he still needs. A while later, the coroner turns on the speaker in the hallways so that Chloe can hear what he has to say. He tells her he knows about her brother and that he'll make sure TJ is jailed. He also asks her to surrender, but Chloe just runs to hide. She goes into the coroner's office and uses the phone there to call her brother, who's in a car outside the morgue. TJ says he has been worried and he even thought of coming in. Chloe can't help but cry as she tells him to leave because something dangerous is going on inside the morgue and she doesn't know if she'll survive. As she apologizes for not being able to help him, the coroner comes in and disconnects the landline before sending his dog to chase her. Chloe is able to run as fast as she can. Meanwhile, TJ calls the sheriff and says he's ready to confess his crime, only if he helps save his sister. Chloe is able to unlock the main doors with some buttons in the security room while still trying to get away from the dog. Eventually, when it catches up to her, she opens up the box containing Ross's liver and uses it to distract the dog. She then runs toward the door, and as she opens it, she sees the sheriff and TJ at the door. She looks relieved to see them and tells the sheriff about what is going on. The sheriff says he'll deal with the situation and check on the coroner because he has always suspected him. Chloe tells the sheriff to be careful, but just as she turns her back, he hits her head with his stick. It turns out the sheriff is working for the coroner, and he also beats up TJ. Chloe finds Ross's gun and threatens to shoot the sheriff if he doesn't let them go. As the sheriff backs off while they slowly go out, the coroner returns to the security room, and as he sees what's happening, he says through the speakers that the gun is fake. The sheriff brings out his gun, but before he can shoot, the coroner says he wants them alive. While the sheriff laments, Chloe throws the fake gun at him and runs away. The sheriff follows them, and the coroner also leaves the security room and finds out the dog has already eaten the liver. He's unhappy with this, but still sends the dog after Chloe and TJ. After a failed attempt to scale the electric fence that sees them get shocked, they're able to get past the dog and run back into the building through an underground entrance. The sheriff sees this and locks it up just before he tells the coroner that he'll go and get the tear gas in his car and use it to smoke them out. Before he can leave, they hear a car horn coming from the gate. The coroner realizes that it's Mannix, but the sheriff doesn't like this because he doesn't want to be seen being involved in the business. The coroner goes to open the gate and tells Mannix that the liver is no longer available, but he's in the process of replacing it. As Mannix tries to understand what happened, he sees the sheriff's car and looks scared. However, he realizes the coroner is working together with the sheriff. As he laughs about it and says he now knows how the coroner is able to get fresh organs, the sheriff shows up behind him and shoots him down. While Mannix is in pain on the ground, the coroner complains about the sheriff's rash decision, saying it will cost them the money they're supposed to make. However, the sheriff doesn't care and says Mannix had a loudmouth. Chloe and TJ hear the gunshots and quickly hide in the vents to move around to see what happened. They soon see as Mannix is brought into one of the autopsy rooms, with the sheriff suggesting they take his liver. The coroner says Mannix's liver got hit by the bullet, so it won't work. As they think of what to do next, the sheriff says they can kill Mannix and pin the murder on Chloe and TJ, so that Mannix's boss can still agree to do business with them. The coroner disagrees with the plan, but says he'll call Mannix's boss to inform him that a replacement liver is on the way. He then tells the sheriff to get the tear gas from his car so that they can smoke out Chloe and TJ to get their livers. As they leave to do their parts, they leave Mannix still in pain, and Chloe and TJ save him. They take him to the underground room, and there, Mannix thanks and promises to give them all the money he has if they help him out. Just then, the sheriff shows up and throws tear gas into the room. Chloe is able to get oxygen masks for both TJ and Mannix while she tries to survive without them. They all hide while the sheriff and coroner start going around to check for them. Chloe struggles to breathe, and she gives up her hiding spot. As the sheriff is about to get her, though, she sets off a gas cylinder, which smashes his face and kills him. She immediately runs to hide before the coroner gets into the room. Seeing as his venture is crumbling, he picks up the sheriff's gun and kills all the patients in the underground room. He then finds TJ and tells him he will take his liver to make up for the one he lost. As he's preparing to cut TJ open, the coroner connects to the speaker again and tells Chloe that she has ruined his life and he'll take his revenge on TJ, after which he'll find her too. She soon shows up to the room where TJ is being held. The coroner is nowhere in sight, so she quickly runs to save TJ. However, he shows up behind her, and as he's about to stab her, she picks up a small cylinder filled with liquid nitrogen and uses it to melt his face. His face gets disfigured, and he's also in pain, but doesn't relent in trying to kill her. Just as he's about to kill her, Mannix shows up and stabs him from behind. Despite being in pain, the coroner turns to swing his knife to kill Mannix. Before he can do anything, Mannix passes his knife to Chloe, and she's able to kill the coroner. Chloe, TJ, and Mannix are all relieved to finally be safe. TJ asks Mannix for the money he promised them, but he says he also saved their lives, so they're even. He, however, says they can still earn the money if they get him the coroner's liver. As they look at Chloe, she agrees to do it, and after she completes the process, she hands it over to Mannix. Mannix pays up and they all leave the building. As Chloe and TJ wonder how they'll head home, Mannix offers them a ride, and they join him on his way out, looking stressed and relieved. Thanks for tuning in. A thumbs up would be amazing because I've got some bills to pay.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like 550 on the 5 sticky, come get high with me, that's a deal, right?